The ancient archives of the Velar Collective contained a warning so old that most younger species had forgotten it existed. Carved into crystalline stone in 17 different languages, it read simply, "Never awaken humanity's wrath. The cost will be measured in stars." The Korthian Empire had dismissed it as mythology. Surely, they reasoned, a species from a single backwater planet couldn't pose any real threat to a galactic superpower. But they were about to learn why the Elders had issued that warning in the first place. Commander Vex stood in the observation deck of his warship, watching the peaceful human settlement on Kepler 442b burn. The colony had been established only 50 years ago, a small, vulnerable outpost with barely 200,000 inhabitants. Easy prey for an empire expanding its territory. Easy conquest. What Vex didn't know was that humanity didn't expand the way other species did. They didn't conquer land and leave. They built, they rooted, they multiplied. And when you threatened them, they didn't negotiate or retreat. They remembered. The first human response came within 3 days, a single message transmitted across all known frequencies in every language the Korthians understood. "You have killed our people. You will answer for this." Vex laughed. Alone, humanity was nothing. But he didn't account for something crucial. Humans had spent millennia perfecting one skill above all others, the ability to unite against a common enemy. The response was terrifying in its coordination. Within a week, Earth had mobilized every asset it possessed. But Earth was just the beginning. The human colonies scattered across the galaxy, places the Korthians had ignored as insignificant, suddenly unified under a single cause. They shared technology, intelligence, and resources with a speed that seemed impossible. The first Korthian battle station fell in 14 minutes. Scientists studying the attack were baffled. Humanity shouldn't have had the capability to penetrate such defenses. But humans possessed something no advanced species had relied on in millennia: they had rage. Pure, calculated, purposeful rage. Dr. Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the human flagship Defiant, watching tactical displays light up with Korthian positions. Her daughter had been in that colony. She had been 4 years old. Sarah's hands trembled as she authorized the next strike. Humans didn't forget. Humans didn't forgive. And humans, unlike most species, had learned to channel grief into action. The Korthian military was superior in every metric: better technology, more ships, more soldiers. But they had one fatal weakness: they fought like a military force. Humans fought like a species with nothing left to lose. They sabotaged supply lines. They infiltrated command centers. They used tactics so unconventional that Korthian military doctrine couldn't adapt fast enough. And most importantly, they did something that terrified the collective's leadership: they didn't stop. For every human casualty, 5 Korthian soldiers fell. The ratio grew worse with each passing day. The Korthians had expected a quick surrender after the initial defeats. Instead, they faced an enemy that grew more determined with each loss. Admiral Krell of the Velar Collective finally understood why the ancient warning existed. He accessed the sealed historical records and found documentation of humanity's previous encounters with advanced civilizations, encounters that had ended with those civilizations either destroyed or forced into eternal submission. Humans were apex predators from a death world. They had evolved competing against creatures that could kill them in seconds. They had learned to survive through intelligence, cooperation, and sheer determination. And when pushed into a corner, they didn't surrender. They conquered. The Korthian Empire sued for peace after 3 months of warfare. They offered territories, resources, technology, anything to make the attacks stop. But humanity didn't want anything material. They wanted something far more important: the complete and unconditional surrender of the Empire. More importantly, they wanted the Korthians to understand that attacking humanity had been the greatest strategic error of their civilization's history. Commander Vex found himself in a Terran detention facility, watching broadcasts of his people accepting human terms. The Korthian Empire, once a superpower spanning 200 star systems, was now a vassal state of humanity. He finally understood the ancient warning. It hadn't been a threat. It had been a desperate plea, a message from civilizations that had already learned the hard way what happened when you awakened a species of predators that could think, plan, and most importantly, never forget. The elders had been right. The cost was measured in stars. And humanity had only just begun. Kindly like and subscribe channel. Thank you.